Have a holly jolly. We live, bitches.
Coming soon to this theater.
It's alive. It's moving. It's coming this way.
What is up, people? I'm sorry. Let me readjust my camera. My camera here. What's up, everybody? Good to see you. Well, what am I saying? I'm not seeing you, but you're seeing me. But well, you get the idea. I'm happy to be here for another episode of the Horror Movie Club. The club where, what do? We watch horror movies, bitches. We watch horror movies and then discuss them. We always try to make sure that it's a movie that's not behind a paywall. So that way, if you're listening to us talk about the movie, or if you find out what the movie is in advance, you can click on the link down below in the description, and it will take you to a 100% free, uncensored, uncut version of the film. So tonight's movie is Black Christmas, the original Black Christmas. Last week we did the 2006 remake of Black Christmas. I think because Matt suggested it. And then I found out, it's just like, wait, we hadn't done the original. And Homeboy has never seen the original. And I was just like, oh, fuck. That's a massive oversight on my part, because this is not only the original holiday slasher movie, it's not only the original Christmas horror movie, it is, in many regards, many people consider it the first slasher movie. I know I certainly do. I mean, not to say that you haven't had movies where, where they're murder mysteries, the Italian movies, the gialli. A lot of people would consider those slasher movies. I don't. I consider them giallo films. They're kind of in their own genre. The slasher, meaning like the 80s slasher, which was popularized, of course, with Halloween. And there's a very interesting connection between tonight's movie and Halloween. I'm going to get into it, but first, let me bring on one of our boys, Dave. ID Crisis. How are you doing, brother, man?
Good. I'm good. I'm glad I finally got a chance to hang out again. Schedule's been crazy. There's been a lot of overtime and a lot of stuff to do in between. But I studied. I did my homework. So hopefully there will be some insightful things to say. I feel like we're going to have a lot of fun.
No,
that means a lot coming from somebody who doesn't like hype.
Right, but we're talking about Black Christmas here.
Right.
We're talking about the big kahuna. We're talking about a movie that for a long time really wasn't getting the attention that it deserved. Now it's a different story. Now it's justifiably gotten its due as a classic. There have been 2 remakes. I was hoping that we could do the 2019 remake. And one of these days, I can't wait. I'm counting the minutes. I'm counting the seconds until we get to do that. Because that's a fucking mess.
For it to be free.
Black Christmas, I call it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's woke as fuck. Yeah. The villain is Jordan Peterson, and there's a statue that is dripping this black goo that is like concentrated toxic masculinity. I'm not making this
real.
Up.
Are you
for real?
I'm
I'm telling you,
I can't believe I'm
movie,
hearing this for the first time. I have to go look this up now.
You can't. I'm telling you, it's one of those movies. It's like when I read the first issue of America Chavez. I remember reading it, and there was a cringe on every page. And I gave it to a friend of mine.
As soon as you said America Chavez, and I'm like, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. It
was. Yeah. It was.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, literally a cringe on every page. And I gave it to a friend of mine to read, and he's sitting there laughing, and he was like, "Man, that was awesome." And I was like, "You realize that's not a satire, right?" And he was like, "It's not." He thought it was a satire of a woke comic book. He didn't realize,
where it's so bad, it's unbelievable. It's full circle believable. Yeah.
Where you get to the point where it's just like it's brilliant in its stupidity, basically.
Carrier was okay. All right. We're gonna That's one of these days. That's going to be on free streaming, and we're going to watch. I'm going to subject you motherfuckers to that, and if it's that bad,
you'll either hate me or you will thank me.
If it's that bad, it'll be the only place people can see it. Leave the World Behind will be right behind it.
Oh my God. Oh shit, man.
All right.
It's legit. It's legit. Woke horror has been a thing, and that's like the Citizen Kane of like woke horror. Pops, how are you doing, man?
Oh, living the dream, brother. Living the dream.
Hail, Pops.
I'm digging that new icon you got there.
Actually, I think Tank drew that last year, Christmas time.
Tank Ferret?
Yeah, and I think it was Tank. Man, look, I got so much Crom art. Some of these guys don't sign them. And then like 6 months later, I'm like, fuck, who drew that? Because I have so many, right?
Oh, wow.
I have like 100 different versions of Crom now, dude.
That's awesome.
It is. I mean, and some great people, man. Bill Moss, Frank Forte, just all kinds of amazing people have drawn Crom now. It's fucking blowout time, boy.
You're going to put out a calendar soon. What up, Grey Wolf?
It's to the point where we almost have one for every day of the year. Let's get to that point. Then we'll make a calendar.
A legit question on Crom. Do you have is there a model for people to stick to or veer away from?
No, what I do when somebody asks me, like send me some reference art so that I can draw him, I will send them 10 different people's versions.
Okay.
Right. Do their own interpretation.
I send them, I say, it's like basically he's a little 3-foot troll with blue hair, right? But I send you, I'll send you.
He's describing the left.
I'll send you Doc's version and Frank's version, and I'll send you a bunch of different people's versions of it, and then you create your own.
All right.
I don't want
the Dank Dealer is still the fucking king, though. Nobody's been able to beat the Dank Dealer.
Say what? Oh, the Dank
Nobody's
Dealer?
been able to beat the Dank Dealer. That's like one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Frank Fujita.
I will show that one since you brought it up. Hold on. Let me pull that one up since you brought
the Dank Dealer.
Let's see. Crom art down here somewhere. There he is.
Let me introduce my boy, your boy, everybody. Matt, how are you doing, brother,
up,
man?
I'm doing good, man. I got this Rebel 100 right here.
Oh, man.
Shit.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Got it for $10 or like $12 at Winco. It's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. First time having it.
Actually, that's a really good price for that.
I've been staying off the beer lately. Just when I do my reviews. So I don't know, man. I've already lost I think 10 or 15 pounds, some shit like that. So fucking crazy. Soda's next.
Soda's gonna do it.
When I know people that are trying to lose weight, because I struggled with it my entire life, right? The first thing I ask them is, do you drink soda? And if they do, I'm like, stop drinking that shit and you will fucking lose 10 pounds. Boom, like that.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so check this out, guys. This is the very first Crom. This is Edwin Badillo. He won the logo contest for the group.
Pretty cool.
Yes, right? Okay, so then this was the logo, still is the logo for the Comic Related Madness Facebook group. But then Crom kind of took on a life of his own, and all kinds of other people started drawing him, right? Lee Reese, Doc drew him. but this is the one Brian's talking about.
The dank dealer.
It's
awesome.
the dank dealer. It's
There is a super slight My Little Pony influence there.
Oh
Just a
my
little
God.
bit.
Look,
And it's just a
there's
little bit.
so
I
many
think it's on the
different
size
ones,
of the
man.
hoods.
And the way his
Just the
hair is like the horns on the helmet.
Yeah.
I love
Oh
this
my
one
God.
too. Okay.
Oh, it's great.
You know, I mean, I have so many. Some of them are themed for the time of the year. It's like people have done. I got Crom. I got Bernie Crom. I have a. Have you seen Bernie Crom?
I'm sorry?
Have you seen Bernie Crom?
No.
Bernie Crumb.
You haven't seen Bernie Crom? Check Bernie Crom out.
Oh.
That's funny.
Rocking the face diaper.
Dude,
Yeah.
the whole thing,
Here,
man.
Kobe
What
Crom.
was-
Still rocking those fucking things.
What was that?
Boogie.
What was he sitting in on? The inauguration or something?
Yeah, that was the
Is that what it
inauguration,
was?
dude.
Yeah.
Here's one of my favorites, guys. You're gonna love this. If you're a fan of Bill and Ted,
Excellent.
that's me and Crom, right? And
Okay.
you know, I don't know why
Aquaman is
Aquaman.
chilling.
in it.
He's like, what the fuck am I? Aquaman.
But I mean, I just have tons of that stuff. So many people have drawn Crom. It's
Yeah,
fucking
well, look,
ridiculous.
man, you busted your ass promoting other people's shit, and it's cool. People throwing some of that love back at you.
What we're gonna have to do some point is just do a Crom art book
Yeah, that'd be pretty
Oh,
cool.
for sure.
with everybody's art in it. That I think that would be cool. That might even fun.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, sure.
You could even do an art contest to go along with it too. You know,
Yeah.
That's
No,
Stone
we got-
Soup
we-
stuff.
we-
always
just
seems to
keep
go
it up
over
even
pretty
more.
well.
You know,
We've done like the draw Crom challenge one time on Monday Madness, and I think Irene and Logan, a bunch of people were out there drawing Crom that night. It was amazing, dude. It's, I'm just trying to have fun, man.
Hold on a sec. I got to go off camera so I can scratch my nuts real quick.
We couldn't see your neck anyway.
I know. I was gonna say, like, he must have to stand up to do it. It's got to
No,
be.
I don't.
It's got to be a deep dig. You know, the kind where
Gotta
you
get
like,
down
stand
up underneath.
No, I mean,
it.
look.
put your
For
feet
all you know, I could
shoulder
be naked
width,
from
and
like the
both
waist
hands.
below. But I just, it's just like you're not going to see me scratching my nuts, but you're going to see me scratching my nuts. Do you know what I'm saying? But you're just going to see
Well,
it
you're
from
just
up here.
gonna lean over to one
I'm
side
going to
like
scratch
you're-
my nuts. I should have the common decency to do it off screen.
And-
Nobody needs to see that shit.
I would have just figured.
As
you
long
were
as you have a
gonna
good
go
poker
straight
face,
with-
as long as you have a good poker face, nobody'd know.
No, I know that, but we keep it real here at the Horror Movie Club. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We're
you're
authentic.
very honest
I
about
just have to let you
everything.
know why I was going off camera for a second.
Yeah.
New
My
picks
camera.
from the Robert Eggers Nosferatu, and these are really encouraging. We still haven't seen. It's one of the Skarsgårds. It's
Bill.
Bill
Pennywise.
Skarsgård, yes, who plays Count Orlok in this. And
Can I
interesting
show one
thing.
more piece of art real quick, B?
What was that?
Can I show one more piece of art real quick?
Sure, yeah.
Look, people don't just draw Crom. Sometimes they draw me too.
Yeah, man. Blink. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
Somebody throwing a righteous
No,
nugget
actually,
right at
the other
your
part of
eye.
that panel, the other part of that panel is Crom shooting me with the fucking rock with his slingshot. You see, that's just, it's two different panels. One's Crom with the slingshot, one's me getting hit in the face.
I thought it was ironically a bud.
It's Crom shooting me with a rock.
Okay.
Now you notice.
We turned it into a canceled.
Now you'll notice to like the right of the frame, you can see those fingers there,
Yeah, the chalice.
right?
And the fingernails. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the claws. I am really excited for this. Everything that I've seen just makes me more and more excited to see this. Eggers has said this is going to be balls out gothic horror. And gothic horror is something that really has been kind of dead
Yeah,
for
sorely lacking.
a long time. And to me, it's a great tragedy because you know what? a great filmmaker can make that shit scary again. But yeah, here is a new picture of Willem Dafoe.
About to say, yeah, he's been running around with some blonde hair lately. He's probably from this movie.
Probably.
Like it makes him look even younger. Like, damn, dude, that fool looks 20 years younger with the blonde hair. Yeah,
are we looking at it on an
he's
altar?
always a welcome presence. You know,
are we looking at an altar or
got the Willem Dafoe in it?
Well, he was in the Shadow of the Bat. Was that 1999?
Yeah, Shadow of the Vampire.
Yes. Shadow of the Vampire.
Sorry, yeah.
He played Mark Strick. That's kind of cool, you know. Some
right,
trivia,
because that's based on. I remember that came out in 2000.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was pissed off because all my goth friends, where did they go see Dracula 2000? I was like, you fucking posers. You fucking posers. I didn't see you.
I would rather want to see this.
Like, let's go check out Shadow of the Vampire. No, I didn't see any of your asses.
Pretty creative idea, like concept, you know, like the whole concept behind it.
Oh yeah,
he's perfect for that role too. You know, like if he wasn't playing this, he should have been playing Orlok. You know, he's fucking beyond perfect for Orlok.
Oh my god, yeah. No, I mean that's first of all, Shadow of the Vampire, excellent movie. Nicholas Cage
do that.
With the producers on that.
Yeah, I remember. We got to do that movie. I don't know if we did.
Yeah, we do.
Done that.
Yeah, we do. Because that's based on the legend of Max Schreck never appearing out of makeup.
Right.
So it plays with that idea and suggests maybe it wasn't makeup.
He was never in makeup. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, of course, that's bullshit. You know, there are pictures of Max Schreck without makeup and all that stuff. But he didn't allow other people, especially not the other actors, to see him out of makeup because he wanted to be always an unnerving presence. And there are actors that will work that way. You know, sometimes you have an actor that's playing a hero, one of them's playing a villain. They'll be all buddy, and then, you know, there's something missing on screen. And then you have other actors where they're just like I'd like, maybe at the premiere, I'll say hello to you. Until then, stay the fuck away from me because we're not friends.
That's method, isn't it?
To keep that tension, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's method. That's a Daniel Day-Lewis thing. You're talking to Abraham Lincoln if you're interviewing him on the set of Lincoln.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now this is clearly a Van Helsing style character, except he's not named Van Helsing. In fact, one of the things I find really interesting about this project is that instead of using all of the original names from the novel, right? Because Nosferatu was a unofficial counterfeit adaptation of Dracula. You know, where they just changed the names. Dracula became Orlok. Yeah. But then when Werner Herzog did his classic remake of Nosferatu, he was just like, well, fuck it. It's Dracula, right?
That guy looks like Harker.
And Renfield, right? So all the Mina Harker. So all the characters were just named after the characters in the novel because obviously the copyright had expired on Dracula.
What is it, since the 20s?
Hey, that guy looks like Hart Fisher, man. That's all I got to say.
More like the 30s, because the original Nosferatu actually almost didn't make it down to us. It almost didn't survive because Bram Stoker's widow sued F.W. Murnau for copyright infringement, and she won. And part of the decision was that F.W. Murnau and the production company, they needed to destroy every copy of the movie that existed. Now, at that point, it had already been spread to the four winds. So it was safe, right? No, but I mean, when you think about it, just like, God damn, you know, I mean, what a treasure we might have.
Even that early, they knew they were onto something.
Oh my God, it's one of the most striking horror films ever made.
I hope Bill. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, you were saying, brother?
Oh no, I was just saying. I hope Bill Skarsgård has a big fucking rat rubber nose, goblin nose in this movie, because I could already picture him as Pennywise. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, he
like
was the guy. He did
he's gonna look like
Pennywise. He had that like
Klaus
the
Kinski.
Homer
He has that.
Simpson eyes, and
He's an exceptional actor. He's an
I'm already-
exceptional actor.
I'm already picturing him as like Klaus Kinski in Herzog's version. You know what I mean? Like I can already see that. Like I already see Pennywise bald, and it's already him. You know what I mean? So I hope they put the big nose on there. You know what I mean? It'll look more like Max. You know?
Yes. And from what we've seen, right, because
That
we've
whole
only seen the
family.
picture of him out of focus, he looks properly monstrous.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, he's gonna look good. You know? It's funny because
Yeah.
this movie and The Crow, like he's in both of them. Those are like the two biggest movies like of next year that I'm excited for. That and Hellboy. I don't give a fuck about nothing else. But it's funny because Willem Dafoe is like his Danny Trejo now. He's like his fucking Kurt Russell now. You know what I mean? He's in 3 movies of Eggers.
Yep.
dude, I am so far out of the loop. They're doing another Hellboy. They're doing it like a sequel to the one with the guy from Stranger Things.
Nope, third reboot.
Another
Third and final. But Michael Golden's writing it.
Final.
Michael Golden and Mike Mignola are writing it. And Michael Golden writes all the Hellboy novels, which are dope. Like I highly recommend Bones of Giants. That's the one where he gets Thor's hammer in the right hand of doom and he can't take it out, and he has to
That's
go to
not
Norway.
Michael Golden, the artist.
No, no, it's Christopher Golden. Christopher Golden. I'm sorry,
Gotcha.
Christopher Golden. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crooked
So he's
Man.
writing it, and then Mike Mignola is also writing it, and it's based off of the Crooked Man, and it's going to take place in 1950s in Appalachia. He's going up against the Crooked Man and a coven of witches. So it should be
Nice.
cool. It's just him and then his lady BPRD agent, and hopefully it's good. You're going to get a young Hellboy. He's going to be like 15 years old in this.
Yeah,
one.
this is Jack Kessie.
Very
Kessie,
cool.
yeah, from the Marilyn Manson Shagrath black metal singer from The Strain.
Jeez, and then you got like Jefferson White. He's a Yellowstone actor.
Yeah, I hope it's good. I mean, it's got Mike
I
Mignola
mean,
and it's
Is there a director attached?
yeah, it's Brian
Taylor.
that did Crank and Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, and The Gamer. He co-directed all those movies. This is going to be his solo one because it was Nabaldine and Taylor that did both those. And I like all 3 of those movies. They're fun.
They are.
They're real silly,
They
but
are.
in the Crank movies 1 and 2, they're all good. They're fun, but I like to see what he's done another movie too that was by himself, I think. But I'm willing to see what he did.
Yeah,
What he can do with it.
And hopefully
It'll
this
be
time the
interesting.
producers won't be like sabotaging the production.
Always.
Well,
Every
and
movie.
Well, that's
Every
the
movie.
thing, man. If you have an unconfident director and he starts directing by committee and letting other people put their ideas in there and stuff instead of making it his vision.
Well, not to be a dick, but to drop facts real quick. The first Hellboy movie was Mignola and Guillermo. And they did what they did together was magical. It was actually better than the first 4 issues, right? The second movie, Guillermo came in. Guillermo fucking steamrolled right over him, in a good way, but he fucked him up. And we got art. We got art. No, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful movie, but he fucked them up. And there's countless interviews with Mignola saying, yeah, he came in. It's a Guillermo movie. And it is. It's a fucking Guillermo movie.
Dude.
But
It's
Mike still
more
hasn't got to
X-Men.
make it.
It's more X-Men than it is Hellboy.
Mhm.
At the same time, I fucking love that movie.
Well, yeah, everybody
It
did.
has so many.
The
It
third
has
movie, we saw
so
what
many
happened.
good ideas.
We saw what happened
And
in the remake, right? There was like all these cooks in the kitchen. They came in, they fucked up Neil Marshall,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
so
what happened.
sad.
And Mignola too. You get a lot of Mignola lore more than any of the other movies combined, but
Yes.
it's not executed properly.
Well, that's because also it's like some of the CGI is astonishing,
Mhm.
right? Like it opens up with a piece of the Hellboy story. I'm trying to remember the
I
name.
like the
of
intro. I liked it.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. It
I
was
like the
taken
story.
I can't remember the name of the story, but it was
Hellboy
it's my
Mexico.
favorite.
Army.
It's funny 'cause
Hellboy
it's my
Mexico.
favorite Hellboy, the one that was illustrated by Richard Corbin.
Corbin, Hellboy
Oh,
Mexico.
jeez.
It's just Hellboy Mexico. That's it.
Yeah, it was. It was the
Sunrise,
one-
baby. Or Moonrise.
Yeah, it was like an homage to like House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula,
So good.
right? Yeah, and it had, and Hellboy has 2 buildings like collapse on him.
And the whole like Arthurian legend thing, where you find out that he's the descendant of King Arthur.
That's
you don't
great.
You don't fucking put that in a reboot of a movie. That's the
No.
fucking 6th movie. You do Seed of Destruction.
Yeah.
They should have done Wake the Devil, which is the 2nd book. You sure don't wake the devil with the fucking Count Dracula-esque vampire, and it would have been and brought in Lobster Johnson and Abe Sapien up in fucking Germany, and you know what I mean. Then you bring in the fucking Yahtzee with the monkey, the gorilla with the floating head scientist. That's it. That's Hellboy. That's all you need to do, and people would fucking love it.
Oh, and then there's the Hellboy game that looks exactly like
the new one. Yeah, dude, and they're fucking
right now on Steam. For like
and they're like, hey, what can we fix about this? Let us know. And people are like, change this, like fans, and they're like, okay, noted, duly noted, thank you. And like okay, what else can we fix? Okay, what else? Like they're fucking asking how can we make it better. I'm just like, dude. And I have Science of Evil. That game.
What's wrong with this game? His shoulders are too broad.
Yeah. Just like the glitchy shit, I guess.
Game companies are doing that now. That's the whole point of beta, right?
Yeah, that's pretty dope,
and
dude.
Games staying in beta for prolonged periods of time.
Yeah.
It's just like they get the feedback from the fans. And
it's like a test screening, you know?
On something like Stream, you don't really have a beta. You just have people using it.
Yeah.
And it just keeps getting tweaked and tweaked and tweaked, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, like Baldur's Gate when it was in beta when I first played it, and Baldur's Gate 3 as it is now are night and day. You know, because originally you could, you know, I mean, it was a little fraction of the game, and that game is cartoonishly huge, and you can do almost anything in it. It's a real masterpiece. And then all the other game companies are mad because they're just like, well, we can't make games this good. Now everybody's going to expect us to make really good games.
If you're gonna be a slave to a deadline, yeah, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, instead they should do what these guys did, what Larian did, which is it'll be done when it's done.
Right.
Yeah,
it'll be done when it's done, or at least be honest about the build or the version that you're using.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't say that it's done if it isn't. And then
Love that quote, by the way.
People are going to be included in on the process. Then what's wrong with that? That's when something like that becomes part of the culture of Steam. More people who are like honest to God, true gamers are going to want to be on that.
Oh, dude.
Part of the building process, you know?
It's you know, it's normal now for games to be released in the beta stage, right? And it's just like, so it's like, hey, you get it like now and you can play it and it's not finished, but then you can let us know where are the bugs, what do you like, what do you want more of, what don't you like, et cetera, et cetera.
And then you can't say that it sucks because you're part of the reason why it does or doesn't.
Right.
You're part of the experiment.
Sorry, guys, you told us to, zig when we should have zagged.
Yep. Also, a little piece of news about James Wan, who is slated to direct The Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, fuck. That sounds fun. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Is it Warner Brothers? Is it for Warner Brothers or what?
I'm assuming.
Damn, Guillermo must be fucking pissed because that's like the shit he was trying to do for fucking 20 years.
It's on the credits of the photo.
Well, Guillermo still hasn't been able to do it at the Mountains of Madness, unfortunately.
Well, I just mean like a big tentpole, like Warner Brothers fucking Lovecraft movie. Like he was fucking fighting tooth and nail for that shit.
Hey man, they're all about connected universes. They're all about like shared universes. There's the Lovecraft universe.
Juan's perfect, bro. I mean, he's got fucking Aquaman's the shit. He's got the fucking all the horror like catalog. He could do it, bro. I want him to see him do Batman.
Oh, of course, that's what we really want to see. He's also working on something with Sam Raimi called The Burden.
Okay.
The Burden, B-U-R-D-E-N.
I'm sorry.
The Burden, B-U-R-D-E-N.
Yes.
Okay.
And evidently, Juan is also working on a bunch of video game titles: Mass Extinction, GMO, and something with Don Murphy called Hunting Season. So yeah,
sounds fun.
Yeah, he's a very busy young man for sure.
Everybody's like for sure, like Aquaman's gonna bomb. Even Momoa's like, yeah, Aquaman 2, it's not looking too good. Like everyone's like, for sure it's gonna bomb.
Which I don't get, because the previous one was a fucking huge fucking hit.
The biggest movie of all time for Warner Brothers. You fucking fuck nuts. Like, why not? As a business entity, whether you love it or hate it, that should be your top priority. Fuck Batman, fuck everything else. I'm just talking business, baby. They should have been like nurturing that and fucking making sure that there's at least, probably 5 or 6 movies of that. Like that should have been their Pirates of the Caribbean. You know what I mean? And have James Wan do it, make it good, make it fun, But they just tied it all up into a second movie. They said, fuck it, let's just end it on the second movie, yeah.
Well, that, and then of course the whole Amber Turd thing.
Yeah, that's what kind of ruined it,
And evidently she's all up in that.
It kind of ruins everything.
I heard. I don't know. I've heard she is.
That kind of ruined it.
I don't. To be honest though, I don't give a fuck if she's in it. She didn't even bother me in the first movie. The first movie was awesome.
I didn't even realize it was her until somebody mentioned it.
I didn't even give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
she is one of those. I've always considered her to be one of those background vanilla filler. Like,
she's a water witch.
B-list at best.
Get the fuck out of here. Do some spells and bounce. I don't know, but I thoroughly loved the first movie. It's just fucking fun. I can't wait to see the second movie. The brother team up.
They did get me to use the term grumpy just the other day. I think it was yesterday, and I can't believe I let it happen.
Grumpy? Who's grumpy?
A grumpy, like that's what they called it in the court. She looked grumpy.
No, I heard grumpy was something else. I can't. It's similar to that, but it's not that. It's not that. Yeah.
Timothy Olsen in the chat taking the piss. Worst movie you ever heard.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Get it? Nope. Get it? Wink, wink. No.
Yep.
Wait, there should be an award for bad movies called the Herd Awards. Look, here's the thing.
I can't believe there isn't an emoji for
the artist. I can watch a movie like Lost Highway, which has Robert Blake in it, who murdered his wife. I can watch that, and that doesn't fuck with the movie for me. At the same time, we're not talking about me. We're talking about like regular jerk-offs, right? And regular jerk-offs are going to be watching Aquaman 2, and every time they see her, they're going to be like, she did a number 2 in Johnny Depp's Dead. That's the only thing that's going to fucking be in there.
I think that whole like Ezra Miller thing kind of fucked with a lot of people, possibly too.
For sure.
So I think like that might have had something to do with the box office. And like normie people are fucking nerds nowadays. Like the whole like nerd, like my generation, they're all fucking nerd geek people. Like they're all in the old video games, comics, and shit. So they know they're you know what I mean. They may not talk about it, but they're in the know. You know what I mean?
Right. It's just
you're not a real video game person until you've dumped a lifetime's worth of savings and quarters into something that you just had to beat. You knew that it wasn't possible. Yeah. After school, in the mall.
What about if you pinch a nerve in your face?
That's my own personal pain. I'm sorry, I take it back.
What if you pinch a nerve in your face?
Pinch a nerve in your face.
What if you play a game for 16 hours straight and pinch a nerve in your face?
Is that from gritting your teeth or making a face because you're like trying to get there and then it doesn't work?
Probably.
You just grind your teeth down to nubs because you can't get past that one point. I submit that if the X-Men was made in the late 70s, early 80s, Robert Blake would have been a perfect Wolverine. Perfect.
Bob Hoskins. Bob Hoskins. If the new Wolverine doesn't look like a sexy Bob Hoskins, I'm going to be mad.
You've never seen Beretta. Nobody's ever seen Beretta. Take the bird out of it.
Beretta 100 times, man. Come on.
Yeah, all right. So she kind of pops.
But also, he was one of the. He was one of the
on board. He's wise.
He's got the little white cockatoo in the beginning. You know, he's got the freaking bird, man. He's got the bird.
Man. What was it? In Cold Blood.
Don't do
That's
the
Wolverine right there.
Don't do the time. Don't do it. That was Beretta.
Yeah. I can barely remember that show. Dr. Agita says those calls by Billy stand up bigly. Super disturbing. Yes, indeed, sir. Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I said, tonight's movie, Black Christmas, the original Black Christmas,
very high creep factor.
The holiday horror movie, the original Christmas horror movie, the original slasher movie. Many would argue, including myself. In fact, when I saw Halloween, I was already very familiar with this movie because my family was like the first family on my block to get cable TV, right? You know, this is like when, there was like one cable channel, HBO, and it only ran. It wasn't even 24 hours.
I remember. Yeah.
Right?
Only 24 hours on the weekend after that.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah. And you know, it was a box with a cable and these big these giant fucking buttons.
Yep. 3 rows of them. You switched them from the top to the middle to the bottom. Boy, those were the days.
So naturally, I'm a kid. I'm a monster kid. I got all my monster magazines, got my Aurora monster model kits. If it's horror, I'm fucking watching it. Right? And I saw this and I just fell in love with it. I couldn't have been more than 8 years old, I think. And it's just like, I just remember looking, you know, because the thing I would do when I would see a movie and love it and be like, I got to see that shit again because this is pre-VCR. I'd go through the TV guide and, like, you know, make a little calendar for myself. Oh, it's such and such a time. Yeah. This is going to be on. And I must have watched this.
5-inch by 5-inch glossy pages, the HBO guide.
Yes, the HBO guide. Yep. Yeah. My God, I wish I kept some of those.
I'm
so
sure
certain movies were like that for me. Mad Max, for instance, was one of those movies I had to watch.
Road Warrior too.
Fucking time.
Yeah.
Well, this is before 2 was even announced. I just saw it once, didn't like it, and then I couldn't get it out of my head. Then I watched it again and realized I loved it, and then just watched it.
Isn't that weird how that happens?
Over and over.
It just sticks to the roof of your brain like peanut butter on the roof of your mouth.
That's something that's rare with cinema. It's way more common with music. Like, how many times has, like, one of your favorite bands put out a record and you don't like it the first time you listen to it?
Oh, yeah, sure. Without a doubt.
Right? But then those records, those become then like the records that you listen to the most.
Yeah,
I
remember
that
happened.
My favorite band is one of those. I listened to it a couple of times, and I always consider it to be like listen to it 4 times, and then it's not like you're getting to know them. It's not even as much as like, is it the music, or is it you're not listening to the music as much as you're listening to what the creative force behind the band is saying.
Right.
And then and now it becomes personal.
Yes. And you know, there's selling out like Metallica did, and then there's bands like Paradise Lost that have changed their sound like time after time after time, but that's because they're evolving. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, exactly. They you can tell it's that. Alice in Chains was like that. They made a record. You could tell it was them, but every album had a distinct different sound. You could tell it was a different story. And the more independent you go, it seems like that's what happens, especially when they're marketing themselves off of a major label and they can go in any direction they want to. It seems like that. Yes, these are all my favorite guys, but it's just they did that on this album. They're doing something else on this album. They've never let me down, so I have to listen.
Right. And there's certain bands where it's okay for them to do the same thing over and over again. When you get an AC/DC record, you want it to sound like a fucking AC/DC record.
Iron Maiden too. Well, I mean, they don't actually do that anymore, but
right. Or like Slayer, fucking Rain and Blood, super fucking fast. Then fucking Seasons in the Abyss, fucking slow, Sabbathy. I mean, it's just like you just want, hopefully, you want them to make sure that the artists themselves are entertained, right?
Yeah.
And that they're not just trying to please their fans, because that's going to come out half-assed.
Oh, if they're getting bored, it'll come through the music, and then you just stop listening. You can tell you know what I mean? Like they sound like they're bored.
Like that band In Flames I listened to, like a lot of their albums were pretty like melodic death metal, and then they came out with this one album called Soundtrack to Your Escape, you know, and they're like, oh, well, you know, the record label was like, what the fuck is this? And the singer's like, listen to it, you know, again, and then tell me what you think, you know what I mean? And that's how I was when I first heard it. The second time I listened to it, I was like, okay, this shit's a little heavier, but it's also catchier at the same time. They have like the heaviest song they've ever written on it, but then they also have a lot of clean singing on it and different sounding like fucking the song. The whole album was just different, and it was supposed to sound like a movie score. Like,
really?
Like a concept album.
That's interesting because I have been actually listening to them quite a bit.
Oh, they're dope.
Clayman, I think that's really good.
Oh yeah, that was the album. 2 albums before that, and then like the final shift. The shift was Reroute to Remain. That's when he really started bringing in the clean singing, and then Soundtrack to Your Escape was the one after that, and it was fucking probably their heaviest one since their new one. But then I don't know.
Props to you, Matt, for pointing them out to me, because
They're
that's
good,
a band
man.
that I kind of slept on for like
They're
a
good.
while.
A lot of
I
people
was
hate
aware
on
of
them.
them, but
Yeah.
I didn't do I hadn't really paid attention to them in a long time. And you know, you were talking about how much you dig them. I was just like, and how the new shit's the shit and everything.
Oh
I was
yeah,
like,
new
okay.
shit's dope.
And to me, that's one of the things that's great about the internet age. You can go and download the entire musicography, the entire discography for a particular band, and you have immediate access to all their shit.
Well, when the MP3 format was really young, bands would just put their stuff out there for free, and you discovered them, and sometimes they hit and sometimes they missed. I still
Like
have
Napster?
and then it's
Sam, I
like,
think,
sort of
was
like
another one.
in between, but you know what I mean. Like one of the there's a guy, Dan Kirkhouse. I love his stuff. He did a thing called Salvo. I use their music in some of my advertisements and stuff, and it's some of the coolest stuff I've ever listened to. And it's one of those ones you're like, I can't believe they didn't get more play. You know, like a band that you hear on the radio once or twice.
Yeah, well,
you can tell the label's not getting behind them. You can tell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Payola goes all the way back to the fucking 1950s.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Right. And look at what everybody was missing out on. That's a good poster.
That's a comic book page right there.
Yeah. Is that right?
No, I mean it's.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, it looks like one. Yeah, but yeah, the panels, I like it.
Take the title out and stick a word balloon in there. It's a fucking. I mean, it is. You know.
It is.
Yeah.
If this
some dialogue from the phone call.
Yeah, right up in there, big old balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
You always got to look in the window, right? You always got to look in the window for every piece of art, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, that's one of the things that I always do on this stream is if we're covering a movie, you know, we're all into making comics and shit. So I always look for art and movie posters, official ones, but especially fan posters.
Fan ones, yeah, it's the best
because that's where you. Right, this is beautifully illustrated. Look at that.
Yeah.
Is it when you look at the bottom, does this look like it was advertising of like a midnight showing or something from like later Hollywood Babylon Lighthouse?
Oh yes, Saturday 15th, December 12th.
Yeah, it looks like and I forgot it.
Bob Clark directed this. Not just playing.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things that
Bob Clark, right?
Surprises people when I tell them about this movie. Yeah. This is a really dark, fucked up movie. It really is. It has a lot of humor in it, but it's one of those movies that has a lot of humor.
I love that.
If it didn't, it would be unwatchable. Right?
The line at the bottom is
fucking
priceless.
break up that dread.
Yeah.
The line at the bottom is priceless. If this picture doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight.
Too tight. Yeah, that's in the original trailer.
I love that.
Let's take a little look at that, as a matter of fact. Because I think it's actually the
over here.
original trailer. Let me see here. Let's see. Billy Rock. My name is Billy. Yeah, Billy's just, you know.
Actually, when I heard that for the first time, it made me immediately think of Session 9.
Right? That's
you know the recording I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah. Because here's the thing. Billy, the killer in this, is a big blank.
Yeah, you never see him.
And you never see him. And you see his eye at one point.
Yeah.
And the reason why Bob Clark wanted the killer to be such a blank, and I know as a kid, I really appreciated this, so that you would project your own fears onto him, right? Because
it's a total game of
it's going to be like 100 times worse,
mm-hmm.
right? And that's the not knowing. And I always used to think, because everybody has their theories, right?
Yeah.
And are they right? Are they wrong? We don't know. Bob Clark has never said. And he is no longer with us. So that will happily remain a mystery. Yeah, he said that. No, that's right. So most people think that he's a lunatic. When I saw this as a kid, of course, I just thought he was just a psycho.
Right.
But as an adult, I look at it, and the more I look at it as years go by, the more and more I become convinced he's possessed.
Yeah.
Because there are different voices coming out of him, and they're coming out sometimes at the same time.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So Nick Mancuso, who plays Billy in this, who does at least the voice act,
right,
said that he actually had to stand on his head in the studio, right? So that it would, like, his larynx would fold up. Not crush, obviously, but he would stand on his head so his larynx would kind of bend, and like that's how he got the voice of Billy.
Silent night, evil night.
This is like an alternate trailer with a different title.
Even the music is creepy.
It is, and I'm telling you,
because you know it doesn't belong.
I gotta get a loop of this. I gotta get a loop of this, and just like around Christmas time, just always have this fucking.
You just saw the voice actors, the method actor of voice acting.
Starring Olivia Hussey.
Juliet.
Yes, Olivia Hussey. She came to fame for being in Franco Zeffirelli's Romeo and Juliet, right? Which is an Italian movie, but it was shot in English. And it was kind of controversial at the time because both...
You could show it in high school and it had nudity.
Right. They showed it, yeah, absolutely. And, but also her age and the age of the boy playing Romeo was appropriate to the original play. That's to say they were like, what, 15, 16 years old?
Yeah, right. They would have been European consent is.
Right. Yeah, I mean, not that they're, I mean, I think you pretty much just see Romeo's ass. I don't remember seeing much of her. I was like, oh, great. Way to fucking cheat us. Oh, man.
Supreme Queen.
He had her by the fucking hair.
Keir Dullea.
Keir Dullea, of course. Everybody's going to remember him from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Margot Kidder.
Lois Lane.
The biggest set of lungs, and when you hear her screaming in Superman.
John Saxon.
Saxon, my man.
That's metal.
Now, when Saxon is on the fucking case, you know the fucking killer does not fucking stand a chance.
This movie doesn't make your skin crawl. It's on too tight. Silent Night, Evil Night. Rated R.
Rated R.
Yeah, so I don't know what the story with that is. That may have been like, I mean, it's in English, so clearly. But I mean, that's the thing all about horror movies is in really good books on horror films that I have. They'll sometimes have little appendixes where you can look up the movie and look up all the fucking alternate titles.
That's cool.
Because it's just always been a thing with horror movies that they change the titles.
The working title.
You
gotta wait when it's a Christmas thing. You're gonna do something like that. You're gonna have to float something and see what the Christians or the church, if they ruffle their feathers. Like, all right, we're gonna change the name just a little bit.
Well, you know what? This did. Remember, this is 1974.
Right.
So this is when things were really loose and really liberal. In fact, the time period in which this takes place is actually kind of significant to the plot in some ways, because Olivia Hussey's character, of course, ends up discovering that she's pregnant by Pierre
Yeah.
Delay, who I can still never get that guy's name right. I'm terrible with French names.
Just call him Dave, but you have to say it like Hal.
Right.
Yeah.
What's up, Hex?
Oh, Hex in the
Allen made
house.
it.
Hex.
Got Tilly Chow in the chat. Hex out there.
Tilly Chow.
Man.
What's going on? What's going on? Let's see.
What's going on?
All right, this is the proper trailer. Oh, this is actually the TV spot. Man, I love just being able to just anything you could think of is on freaking YouTube, man. Wait while we got it, because it's going soon.
Remember those idyllic scenes out of your childhood? Crisp winter nights, sleigh bells, crackling Yule logs? Remember those? Remember them well.
Crackling Yule logs over your neighbor's head.
I wish it was Burl Ives. They should have gotten Burl Ives to do this. That
would have been good.
After Black Christmas, they'll never be the same again. Black Christmas. If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight.
Rated R.
Rated R.
It's funny because this movie is R-rated and a hard R, and I think if this shit came out today, it would be like PG rated.
Did you? Now you said something before, and every time I see fake blood, but there, I think it was you. You must, even if I didn't hear from you, you must know. When did they go from solid red ketchup blood to a more realistic kind of a translucent old maroon?
Well, the classic fake blood is Caro syrup, corn syrup with red food coloring.
Well, that's what they would use now. But I mean, there was something that was like
that's what they would use back in the day. I don't know what they use now, but that's what they would use back in the day. And if it was a black and white movie, like Raging Bull, all the blood in that, Hershey's chocolate syrup.
No, I mean that makes sense. But you know what I'm talking about.
Man, I got a really bad joke.
It looks fantastic. And it looks fucking fantastic.
But there's it looks like red paint, like solid red blood versus
well, like the Tom Savini Dawn of the Dead blood.
Yes.
But then he had also painted the zombies like gray?
Yeah, freshly dead.
Right. And blue, and that didn't turn out to be the greatest idea. But whatever, the fucking money shots in that are fucking legendary.
Oh,
and amazing. You know, and it is the greatest movie ever made, in my opinion. It just never fucking gets old. The Japanese poster, of course, the Japanese always rock the cool movie posters. At least I think this is Japanese. I mean, I'm looking at the kanji here.
Yeah.
So it might be something else.
You might have to have a polyglot in chat to let you know if it's Korean or Chinese or.
Yeah. So it's like no, bitch, that's Mandarin.
Right.
Or Thai or some shit. Yeah. Either way, it looks cool, and
it could be Indian.
Japanese, not just from the characters, but also from the just the quality of the poster here.
I like the blood coming from the middle two fingers of the hand.
Yeah, Margot Kidder's hand.
Somewhere there, you could be watching this movie and experience a lobster claw hack. You know, like somebody coming at you with the machete, and you put your hand up to defend yourself, and it just splits your chicken wing right down the middle.
Oh, defensive wounds, man. Yeah, man. But this doesn't really have any gore in it. This is one of those movies that's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where people think they've seen more than they actually have.
Yeah.
Because the murders are so savage.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's what made Session 9 so cool. And Jaws, too. Yes. You don't see a lot of gore. They scare you with the stuff that you don't see.
You see a severed head. You see Robert Shaw get eaten alive.
Yeah. But you're scared. You're more scared with the stuff that you don't see. You know it's around the corner. You know it's that silhouette that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, and that's one of the greatest horror movies ever made. Certainly one of the best monster movies ever made. And people are like, "Oh, well, it's like more like a nature gone wild thing." It's like, I'm sorry, sharks are not that big. And that shark
but I mean,
also
it's
seemed to be malignant, like it just kept fucking coming. Do you know what I'm saying? I was like, you know, I'd be almost tempted
Like
to. Like, see, that's how they fucked up. That's how they fucked up the film version of Cujo, right? In Cujo, he gets rabies. In the novel, he's possessed by a demon because a demon's looking at a Saint Bernard, right? If one of you ever looked at a big, cuddly dog, right?
Yeah.
And they're total mushes, and you just want to get in there and cuddle them, right? But if you look at them, you could think to yourself, especially if it's a Mastiff or some massive dog, you're like, wow, that dog's so sweet. But if he wanted to, he'd just fucking bite my head off like a fucking Tootsie Pop.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And so the demon looks at the St. Bernard and is like, oh, I could do some fucking damage in that fucking thing.
You know, I read a lot of Stephen King. That's the one book that I didn't read because I was assigned to it in high school.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
there
that's always how it is. You either want to or you have to, but rarely do those two things come. They meet up in the middle.
That was nice a recipe for me to avoid a book.
Yeah, I have to read it.
To go fuck yourself.
No, thanks. Yeah.
Don't make me
Read
read it.
some H.P. Lovecraft or some fucking dick instead. But yes, this was produced and directed by Bob Clark. Bob Clark, of course, probably, well, not probably best known for A Christmas Story, which is considered like a classic Christmas movie now. So he made A Christmas Story and he made Black Christmas.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know he did both of them, huh?
Yep.
This could be the sexiest Margot Kidder has ever looked, too.
Oh, for sure.
Well, that's because she's
Yeah,
she's drinking all the time, and you know you could get her.
Yeah, well, yeah. And
those drunk chicks make bad decisions, and I could be one of those.
Yeah, baby.
That's like the two most iconic, like the most iconic Christmas movie, and then the most iconic, like probably horror Christmas movie. You know, the same director. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
no, just watching her spell out the word fellatio was.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're gonna have.
I went down an IMDb whirlpool or a black hole because I could have sworn the cop in that behind the desk, the dumb one, she's spelling fellatio too.
Yes.
He looks so familiar to me. I'm like, he was the pilot on the plane in Superman going, just fly. Don't ask, just what. I looked it up. It wasn't him, but it was just like that guy. I've seen him in so many things. And it was close enough to where, like, you know.
There's a lot of Cronenberg people in this, actually. A lot of Cronenberg people.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And then, of course, here we have Andrea Martin, who was, as I pointed out last week,
remake, right?
Was in the remake.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boy, she was kind of cute back then.
These are drastically different. Like they're drastically different too. You know what I mean? Like,
in terms of mood, especially.
Yeah, this one's a lot scarier. That one, I think that one's creepier in some ways.
I think the 2006 version, it was like I could rock with it because, first of all, it was just beautifully made. It was beautifully shot, right?
Yeah,
that made a big difference, and it was obvious it wasn't taking itself too seriously.
No,
Right? Well, I mean, you know, when Billy makes the fucking cookies, I'm like, okay,
right,
really,
yeah, sure.
Right? And people are dying in stupid ways, like Andrea Martin's character just like falls back and an icicle falls, goes through her eye. I'm like, okay, so it's just like this is it's not great, but it's eye, and it's definitely not offensive.
I like it. The remake does a callback to Bob Clark's Christmas Story. Where the icicle actually kills somebody. Yeah. The icicle actually kills somebody when in A Christmas Story it just breaks the glasses.
It'll take your eye out.
Yeah, right.
The
icicle fell from the gutter and it hurt me.
I think this one was a little bit more like larger in scale too, because you had like the detective with Saxon, and the remake you don't have that too much, you know. It didn't feel like it, I don't think.
And also because there's the subplot of a missing girl.
Right, exactly.
Of a missing child.
That gets murdered.
And that, they go looking for in the park. Now, this, of course, is the first kill. And it is a doozy. Is it gory? No. Is it brutal? Is it savage? Is it twisted and sick? Abso-fucking-lutely. But the thing that's really sick is how he is all into like posing the bodies. Like that body, her body in particular, never gets found in this because she's up in the fucking in the attic.
Yeah, hiding in plain sight.
And then, of course, we've got the house marm. This is the character that Andrea Romano played in the 2006 remake.
Yeah.
And you can't help but love this old bat. She's
I
always
like her.
She's always getting her drink on.
She wanted me to try to get, like, I wonder what Sherry's, is that good? Whiskey,
Sherry? Yeah,
vodka.
Sherry's good. Sherry is like it's like a light wine. Amontillado, the from the casket of Amontillado. Of course, I had to try that, right? And got a bottle of it. Yeah, it's just it's sherry. Sherry's it's pleasant. It's refreshing. It's it's like wine that's like a little more watered down, but
right.
It's
wine. It's wine, but it's a little bit more watered down. But she likes it so much that she has to carve out the pages in a book in order to hide it. If I'm carving out the pages in a book to hide it, it's got to have to be some Blackheart 92.
Right. You want something that's a little punch. That's what I was thinking.
Like,
that's what I was thinking.
Lightweight stuff for you to go through the trouble. Like, somebody's going to think that you don't have the moral fortitude to run a sorority house because you like something that's not as heavy as wine. Then you got to carve the pages out of your book.
But that's the thing that makes her so charming, right?
Sure.
Is she absolutely loves and takes care of these girls, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
In many ways, their protector, right? And she doesn't want to, she doesn't want them to like see her just fucking hitting the bottle all the time. She's trying to set a good example. But
I could have hit one of those bottles under that hat she's wearing.
And it's not like she's a sloppy drunk. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, I know, but like
around and puking and all that shit. She just likes her booze.
Forgo the hat pin. Strap one of those bottles under that hat, and it'll stay on your head.
Remember
the dirty question.
In this scene, she's like looking for a bottle in the medicine cabinet, and it's like nothing. And then suddenly she's thinking, and ding ding, light bulb appears above her head. She opens the toilet, and
same shit too. And it's the same bottle.
It's the
that studio did not spend enough money. Like, wait, maybe she should have two different brands just to make it more realistic.
See, I assumed it was whiskey at first. I assumed it was whiskey, and then I saw.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's in that. It's in the flask. Yeah, it's in the bootleg shaped bottle. Sure.
Amontillado. This poor girl's father. She was supposed to. He was supposed to meet her here. He was supposed to pick her up, but she never shows up. And so
that's a great shot too, going right through the tunnel, and you can see the architecture in the background.
I mean it's a really well shot movie. And I love this too. Here's Homeboy with the fro, and he's doing Santa Claus, and he's not into it. And he's like, "Ho fucking ho!" But then the girl is
like dropping all these F-bombs. Worst Santa ever.
What was that?
Worst Santa ever. Santa does not drop the F-bomb. That's a dead giveaway.
No. But the thing is, it's just like the girl is still like, well, fuck you. I'm still, I know. I'm still gonna give me some Santa love.
All right.
So her father's just like looking at all this shit. And I especially love this. Once again, this is the humor that's in the movie.
That's a cool
and
poster,
it doesn't do anything to undermine the horror in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, there's like a poster of a young man and a young woman enjoying a little horizontal refreshment in the shape of a peace sign. And so there's a picture of a dude's ass, and she just like puts her hand over it so that he won't see it, right? And then she
I
shows
know,
it
I
out
love
the
that
door.
part.
Right? And then he ends up
This
seeing
is
it.
totally. I wonder because Facts of Life came out way after this.
Yes.
Then that's Mrs. Garrett.
Is it really?
No. I mean, like it's the same character. It's a house full of girls. It's a girls' school, and I'm only just now thinking about it. I mean, there's only a few girls there. You know, it's like which one's Joe Palmachek? Which one's Blair? Because they already have a Mrs. Garrett. It's just a Mrs. Garrett that drinks.
So
you remember that show? They always had some guy coming over there causing trouble.
Always.
Matt knows.
I watched it like when I remember some of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I always bounce back and forth. Sometimes Blair was my favorite. Sometimes Joe. Sometimes I wanted that hard chick. Sometimes I wanted that Barbie doll, you know?
Yeah.
Could never. And then eventually.
I remember Three's Company a lot. That was a show I watched.
Yeah.
Three's Company.
Suzanne Summers. And then Margot Kidder's like fucking feeding booze to this little boy.
No, Couth.
She's feeding him booze.
Yeah.
And this guy's super conservative, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my God, it's just like these girls like to party. It's just,
I do not approve of this environment.
Look, I'm sorry. Like, remember there was that swimmer that got in trouble because there were shots of him doing bong rips, I think at college.
Mike Phelps.
Mike Phelps.
Yeah, Michael Phelps, yeah.
If I found out my son was in college and he wasn't doing that shit, I'd be like, is everything okay, son? Are you all right?
He's either smoking pot or he's smoking
yeah.
and you just want to know which one it is.
Yes. It's just like, yeah. I'd be worried if he wasn't doing bong rips. Jesus, man.
Everybody that goes to college puts something in their mouth. I just want to know what it is.
Right. And then, of course,
that's terrible. I shouldn't say that. Lord forgive me. That's disgusting and rank. Anyways, back to the horror movie where people get killed.
So they go to this guy. I was trying to place him. And I remembered. Oh, he's the father in The Brood, which is awesome David Cronenberg.
Yeah. You know who I thought he was? Peter Dinklage, not a midget.
Oh snap! He's like a tall.
Peter right?
Dinklage is like is a miniature version of him.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Mini me.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage, but not a midget or dwarf, little person, whatever the politically correct term is.
What up, Keely Chow? Good to see you. Oh yeah, Timothy Olsen made this comment. Logan's Look is based on a character from Slapshot. Slapshot was a comedy with Paul Newman.
Paul Newman's got the coat on.
There's this actor. It's a British dude, actually. Yeah, that was like short, wide, and with big old sideburns.
The goalie, right? Wasn't he the goalie?
I forget. I haven't seen that movie.
Paul Newman, right?
No,
Paul Newman was the coach. I think he's wearing the fur coat. And
he's
maybe
in that,
that's all I know is the Hanson,
like Joey Ramone.
The Hanson brothers were rocking those slot racers, and that's what
the Hanson brothers had the look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think the goalie was the one that went on the TV interview, and he had on the fur coat and everything. And
I'll go out there. I'll want to dig around. And you suddenly hear all these women screaming. You realize you just did it. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Oh yeah, so
Saxon's like Freddy better not be in this movie.
Yeah, no shit.
Hey, to be real though, he's not really a good detective, bro. He never caught Freddy. He never caught Billy. I'm sorry.
No, he didn't.
Well, he does fuck up some zombies though, and some fucking he does kick some ass with Bruce Lee.
Oh right, yeah. I mean, Saxon's the man. I'm not taking anything.
Come on.
He was an android too, wasn't he?
He's the only white dude that survives the island, man.
The island,
man,
right?
No, wait a minute.
He's the only white dude to survive the island. Come on.
And then you're thinking about the horror movies and how many horror movies he's in. Horror royalty, man.
Yeah, Saxon's a badass dude.
Wasn't he also like a robot or an android and a $6 million man?
Maybe. I know he was on an episode of Kung Fu as like a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
He was in a lot of shit. He was one of those actors that was one of the few that you would see on television and in films.
Right.
Yep. He was everywhere.
Yeah, he sure was.
He was a working man, yo.
Right. Let's see.
Working man.
The actor.
Oh, yeah.
Hello?
Busy fellow.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, quiet! It's him again! The Mona!
The Mona.
Quiet.
Oh, shit. Look, I giggled my ass off through this one more than I did through the one last week.
I love it. They all gather around the phone like somebody's gun
Like they're on
jammed at
speakerphone.
range.
Like it's on speakerphone. Yeah, I love it.
That's always what happens when your pistol stovepipes at the range. Everybody gathers around to see what happened.
Now, the fact that they're all gathered around is an indication, and they have already given him a nickname. That's an indication that these calls have been coming for a while.
He's expanded his act. But that big one person. That's the Mormon Tabernacle Choir doing their annual obscene phone call.
See, here you're starting to hear like what sounded like multiple voices.
Right.
It was. That's why she said choir. More than one, you know?
Let me stick.
And then you hear a voice that sounds rational, but terrified. And he's asking for help. Yeah, you notice the look of lurid fascination on Margot Kidder's face here.
Life before the internet.
Look, go back to her. Isn't that Stifler's mom?
It looked like her.
Yeah, a little bit.
Uh-huh.
It's her name.
Cunt. You big cunt. You big cunt.
Stifler's mom, dude. It's always been.
Yeah, this is very much the Exorcist part, but Exorcist, of course, came out I think around the same time of this, so this is not taken from the Exorcist.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Let me lick your pretty picky cunt.
Yeah, you might not want to say that part, dude.
Yes, he used the C word, ladies and gentlemen.
About 40 times.
That's the big guns right there.
That's the rated R right there. That's how you get rated R.
Pretty big cunt. Pretty
Over
big
and over.
cunt. I make a pretty big cunt. I'm like a tuning fork, baby.
You heard her, you're like, ooh, all right, you want to lick it?
She's rocking the choker.
Not bad.
Suck my juicy cock. I'll come over and you can suck it. Suck it. Okay.
Listen, you pervert, why don't you go over to Lamb-Kai? They could use a little of this.
Yeah, and then I just love how this call ends, because it ends on a really sinister note.
Piggy cunt. You want my fat cock too?
Oh, why don't you go find a wall socket and stick your tongue in it? That'll give you a charge.
I'll stick my tongue up your pretty puss. Say,
You
Oh, the old days of prank phone calls. Except this ain't a prank.
Man.
fucking creep.
That's all she can come up with is creep.
Did you catch
Then the
that?
last thing he says is, "I'm going to kill you."
I'm going to kill you.
Oh.
And he said, and he said it in
normal
in a
voice,
very, very calm voice.
kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, this is a compilation of all of the phone call scenes in this movie, because that's another thing about this film that's a first. This is the original Christmas horror movie, the original holiday horror movie, the original slasher movie. It's also the original "The Call Is Coming From Within the House" story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But of course, technology not being exactly cutting edge in 1974 Canada. This guy was in the guy who plays the telephone expert. He was in Deranged, which we did. You know, the Ed Gein movie. He was the narrator.
Looks like Mo from The Simpsons.
He's Mo. He was also in Videodrome as well.
Oh.
Street.
Yeah, so
140, Terminal 55.
So it's like that's the technology that they're working with. So she has to like keep him on the phone for a while, and you know the calls just keep getting stranger and stranger. Then of course the body count starts to mount. Some of the
people start disappearing. They haven't found bodies yet, but people start disappearing.
Leslie Carlson is the guy working the phones.
Well, it's like they're very slow to catch on, but at the same time, wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
Well, this is what I'm saying. People are missing, but they haven't found any bodies yet. So there is no body count. There's a missing person.
Crescendo at the end, you know, when they all just delivered to the audience, basically gift wrap, no pun intended, for Christmas.
It calling back to A Christmas Story. That guy
What do
working
you
the
mean, no
phones.
pun intended? You intended that.
Intended that, motherfucker.
The guy working the phones is also the guy selling the Christmas trees in the Christmas Story.
Let's see. What scene is?
That's pretty cool.
IMDb, man, you can't live without it.
Oh yeah, it's the. They keep fucking up, unfortunately.
Yep, her turn.
Yeah, this is definitely
She's
one of the best
talking
horror
to the
movies
cat.
ever made.
Everybody talks to the cat in this movie too. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I always.
Claude, is that you, Claude?
It's the catalyst to every murder. I get it. No pun intended.
Zang.
The
Sorry,
catalyst.
Matt, what did you say?
Oh, I was saying this is definitely one of the best horror movies ever made.
This part's great. It's
You
just
like
like
this?
Claude.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot to unpack
Claude.
about it.
Claude is the name of that yellow cat in the Warner Brothers cartoons with the bow on his neck.
Right.
The one that's
yeah.
always like hypochondriac cat. Is that's the cat? His name is Claude.
Claude.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what
wow.
she's saying right there, though. She's going, Claude, is that you?
Claude.
Now come,
We're
Claude.
gonna have to.
It's not Claude, baby.
Can't even see him. It's such a good job too. Like watch that in slow motion. It's still hard to see him. You know, they did such a good job. Like it's brilliant. That was a brilliantly shot. And then also just again, what we were talking about earlier in the stream. You never see the killer. It's open up to interpretation, like what you're gonna visualize in your skull. You know what I mean? Like this movie, really cool, man.
This guy thought of it here before they thought of it in Final Destination. No killer.
Well, Final Destination was more of an Omen thing. It followed the Omen formula.
The death spirit, the death. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you never see it. It's that, like every one of these slasher movies has a killer. What if there isn't one? And they did it here first. I mean, there is one, but you never see him.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, as a little kid, man, I saw this. I lost my fucking mind. And I would walk around the house pretending I was a killer. And I would, like, go up to the attic and come down and everything.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, shit, for me, this movie had me looking up in the ceiling and went with the bed like, damn, that movie's pretty scary. You know, I wasn't even doing that for the remake, and like fucking part of the movie, like you get to see their Batcave up there, and you know what I mean. You get to see it too. It really sets it up, and I also like the first person shots of what from the killer's perspective, the first person view.
Dude, at the beginning.
In the beginning, and then him getting mad at the end, like, fuck, he's just throwing shit up there, you know?
Oh, the fit that he throws, yeah.
There's just so much stuff, man. And then knowing that's Bob Clark, the versatility, like in this guy for Christmas movies, again, two archetypes, you know, and
Porky's too.
Oh,
yeah, Porky's and Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things.
The end of this movie, man, was like one of the best endings I've seen for a horror movie. Just seeing her up in the fucking in the window right there, and you still like nobody notices her. Nobody would notice her. That would literally happen in real life. And he's never caught. You know, they catch him, they fuck him up in the remake, but they never catch him in here. So it's fucking scary. It's like there's this Billy's on the loose forever. You know.
Yep.
Children should.
Now I was wondering what it was like going from having seen the 2006 version to seeing this. Like, what was that like for you?
For me, it was like basically the other movie was just more like, I'm thinking in the back of my head, like that one's a little more fun, but also like creepy. For me, this one's like was generally scary. Like for me, it was more like a presence and like looking at like there's a demonic killer. You know what I mean? Like a demon like possessed killer in an attic. You know what I mean? That's how I got thinking about this one. The other one was scary too, but they're more like monsters, if you will. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. They're like they're like the cannibal family, the Sawyers, and like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Exactly. Or Hills Have Eyes, you know. And in this one, he's a demon possessed killer that you're never gonna see. I guess he is a monster too, but more of a demonic presence, dude. And I love how you just see the eye, you know what I mean, or you hear and then all the voices.
And it's red.
Yeah,
that's another.
Oh yeah,
that I never noticed.
Red eye.
I never noticed before. Is that he has
that one shot? That one shot, dude. He has a red eye. So it's like another thing. I think that backs up your theorem of him being possessed. And then again, another thing that backs up your theorem is, he's got a choir now. I don't think he was talking about a choir to them, meaning more than one of the sorority girls, but a choir to him being on the phone. Like there's more people with him, you know, speaking to the choir, like a double, like a binary situation, you know. But for me that was fucking scary, dude. You know, the voice for me, I'm a sucker for like good voice deliveries. If they nail it, it's scary. Like that for me, The Exorcist does it perfect, and so does this movie, man. I can't wait to show my wife. I think she's gonna love this one.
Nice.
Because they nailed the slasher and the demonic possession, I think, really well. You know. And a third thing is, by not giving him a face, you're making him a demonic entity.
Mm-hmm.
He is, you know.
But at the same time, are we wrong?
Well, it's been turned into
red herrings.
It's plausible.
But that's the genius. Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like
in the filmmaking, you know. I don't know who wrote
turned it in. You've turned the entire thing into a game of Clue.
Well, it's like my man Chris. By the way, Chris, you're listening. Much love to you, brother. Merry Christmas and all that happy shit. Sorry, I'm not to see your new crib.
Merry Christmas, everybody. By the way, cheers.
And all that happy shit. I want to make sure all the happy shit is included in your Merry Christmas.
For sure.
Absolutely. We're still here. We're doing a horror movie club, having fun. You know, life is just a beautiful death. And never lose your fucking sense of humor.
Never. That's when you're done. That's when your ass is really cooked. You know,
that's my answer lately. For whenever someone's like, "Hey, how's it going?" You know, waiting for death, just like everybody else.
Yeah, I always quote my old hippie friend of mine who would always say, "Maintaining, man, maintaining."
Yeah, I hear that too at work sometimes.
Either I'm living the dream or it's all action. It's one or the other.
Yeah, I'm either living the dream or I'm dreaming the life.
Yeah, boy. Oh yeah, that's right. This is a really interesting bit of trivia. Oh yeah, another really funny scene. Yeah, the like 108 Fellatio Drive. The dude's just dying. He just has no clue. He does a great Barney Fife.
It's something dirty, isn't it?
Because you see, that's what the guy's an idiot, not just because he's not intelligent, but because he's just so oblivious to his own stupidity.
Yeah, socially unaware. But that character in the back doesn't do much. He just sits there behind the desk, laughing at shit.
Yes,
and it's the trap door to everything else. You know, the movie gets too intense. There's always that guy who's laughing at stuff.
But that's the thing. It's just like there's humor throughout this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
see that unicorn.
It doesn't lessen the fucking horror.
You see that unicorn. That unicorn was also in the other movie.
Yes.
Only it was glass.
Yes. Well, this one's glass too.
It doesn't look like glass there. It looks like steel. But it was different. It's not the same one, but it was a unicorn. No.
Yeah, well, it's one of the iconic moments and one of the iconic images from this movie. That's one of the things I liked about the 2006 one was the fact that it was doing its own thing, but then like it assumed that you have seen this movie, and so put in a little nod here, a little nod there. Bob Clark visited the set, gave it his his blessing, and
there you go.
Crew and everybody thumbs up.
It's not like Carpenter. Carpenter's
the first
like
time
that guy with Zombie, Dude, I've seen I've seen like 2 interviews where he talks shit on Zombie now online.
What? Oh yeah. Well, that's because Rob Zombie's a fucking scumbag, and he because Rob Zombie called him up and said, "Hey, I'm doing the Halloween remake," and Carpenter said, "Make it yours. Do your thing, right? Don't worry about the original and all that stuff. Do your own thing." And then Zombie lied and said that he had said like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, and hung up on him.
Yeah. So it's just like, what, I needed another excuse to not like Rob Zombie.
That pissed me off though when I seen like 2 I believe it was 2 interviews, like they just brought it up and he was like, no, fuck that movie, he's and then he's like, and Michael Myers is too fucking big. Michael Myers is not supposed to be that big. It doesn't make sense. Like he's supposed to be the shape, and he's supposed to be like, I don't know if he used the term, I forgot what term he used, but he's just saying he's too big. I mean,
accessible.
I like the Rob Zombie movies. I do like them, love them, hate them, whatever. I thought they were entertaining. I like the actors in there and shit. But I think the situation's fucked up. I think his music is good. That would be some of the songs are pretty cool.
If all the songs didn't sound exactly the same, but
he uses a lot. Yeah, he uses a lot. Yeah. Like so does Hetfield though. Make him do it again. Yeah, it's like I don't know.
Did anybody not think that unicorn with that big fat horn was not going to be used as soon as you saw it?
Yeah, of course.
Weird, just like
I'm talking about like you want to telegraph a right-handed haymaker. There it is. By the way, this unicorn is going to be used to kill someone because look at the horn.
Oh, it's going to be the little pony,
like these
the
cute
donkey
little glass sculptures, and makes it ominous.
Yeah. Well, it's weird too, like the way it's this. I mean, not just like the obvious shot of his eye, but just there's single imagery. There's like the demonic red eye, but there's single imagery when he's murdering her. They just shoot to like one image with the black backdrop, and there's a lot of glass and little single imagery. It reminded me of photos that you would get like in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s with your family, where you're kind of sitting there posing, and there's like a black backdrop, and there's like a little glare, like in the, you know what I'm talking about?
Right, the red eye.
Yeah. Well, not that so much, but just like they're not that really, but the shots before that where they're just showing like little single, as he's stabbing her, they're showing like little images of just one item. You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's
there we go. Is that's the shot right there? That's all black. All black. You know what I mean? There's just glass right there. There's a couple of those, and it's pretty quick.
Like a velvet painting.
That's the swans from the Japanese poster. Okay.
There's also a lot of Mario Bava.
That's what I was thinking. Like one of his intros from one of his movies was Bava was doing that, right?
Well, especially with like the zooms, right? Like for instance, when the house mom comes up into the attic looking for the Kitty, and of course Billy's waiting with her with the hook, and she looks and sees the first murdered sorority girl in the window with a plastic bag over her fucking head, and it zooms in like this, right? And then it cuts to her, and it basically zooms in on her, and that's very totally a Mario Bava shot, and that happens a few times.
What movie was it? What genre movie was it where like it has like a killer like putting on their gloves? You know what I mean? In the intro to the movie while the music's playing.
There's a billion of them. That's the giallo standard. The Bava movie that it had the biggest influence on slasher movies was
Blood and Black Lace?
Bay of Blood.
Oh, Bay of Blood.
Bay of Blood, also known as Twitch of the Death Nerve. And it's funny because that's actually like a pretty playful movie. Like almost all of Bava's movies are playful in some way. That's one of the reasons I love them so much. But that one in particular is just, it even ends on a humorous but like really, really dark note.
Hey, Brian, I got a question for you, man. Is there any horror New Year's movies? Or New Year's horror?
I'm sure there are. Oh, I got to tell this story.
New Year's Evil. Come on. New Year's Evil.
Got to tell this story. So, John Carpenter, he's a young filmmaker, screenwriter, hasn't really gotten his foothold yet. He meets Bob Clark, tells him what a massive fan he is of Black Christmas, and makes a pitch to him for a sequel where Billy, after the events of this, he's been arrested.
Halloween.
He's taken to a lunatic asylum, right? Wait for it. Taken to a lunatic asylum, except he escapes and he comes back. But he doesn't come back on Christmas. He comes back on
Halloween. This is that's like the spiritual sequel to it, right?
Yes. Although once again, totally its own thing. And
totally.
Yeah, right. But clearly owes a debt to.
Yeah, this is the Papa movie.
Well, yeah, your influences. That's way far away from. I mean, there's outright plagiarism, but that's not nowhere near that. That's
no. Look,
that's inspiration for sure.
All artists steal from each other. Okay.
Oh yeah,
all artists steal.
Yeah.
And when I use steal, I'm calling it that because I'm almost uncomfortable saying, "Oh well, this was an inspiration." I'm just like, nah, I better gank that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I believe in giving credit where credit's due, and that's my big problem with Rob Zombie is he doesn't do that.
Yeah, that's the way I've always put it is there's no such thing as an original idea, just an undiscovered way of plagiarizing someone else, which is to say you're inspired by the things that you've seen in the past and aren't really, if we're being honest, aren't we all just amalgams of our environment and all the people we've ever known?
Right, but also,
or the way one
how many versions of Frankenstein
or been inspired by, right?
Dracula, how many versions of Les Yeux Sans Visage, The Eyes Without a Face? How many versions of? I mean, there's certain stories that are always going to be retold over and over and over and over again because we need them for some primordial reason.
They're fucking dope. We love them.
That's part of it. I think that's part of it.
We're going to tell them our way, right?
That helps.
When something happens and you're going to tell a story that you like, you know what I mean? There's some drama or someone gets in a fight or just some shit, you know? You want to tell that story your way and how it went down. Whether you realize it or not, you're going to do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And of course, so many of the Grimm's fairy tales. Who knows what those were like when they started out?
Right. Yeah, from the
telephone.
Science. Yeah.
Right? It becomes a game of telephone.
Mm-hmm.
And, my God, most people's idea of the Grimm's fairy tales is from Disney. And if you've ever read the original Grimm's fairy tales, there's not a speck of fucking Disney in there. They're fucking mean.
Yeah.
They're nasty. They're
German. They are German.
Critical Blast is putting out one, dude. Sorry to segue, but Critical Blast was putting out an old German book, I think.
Yeah.
With the Grimm's fairy tales. Fuck, I wanted it, man, for my kids because I'm reading them. There's a Grimm's fairy tale book with other books in there too, like Billy Goat's Gruff and whatnot, that I had as a kid. They don't make them anymore. They don't fucking sell them anymore. So I had to buy it offline from some old lady. For like $7.
I don't even know.
Edition, I'm like, I got to read these to my kids. They got to know these shits, So
if you want to see something really fucked up and definitively German, check out Der Struwwelpeter.
Oh yeah, is that the?
There it is.
What's the
There's
dude
Earls
with
on
the
the pizza.
scissors that cuts off your thumbs because you're sucking your thumbs?
Yeah,
Well,
that was a
Life
Christmas
lessons,
present.
you know?
The
dude, that
motherfucker who
dude
wrote
with
that,
the big head and the scissors.
Yeah.
Ugh.
yeah, that's the most German thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal, man.
The only thing in here that has a date, the illustrations are dated 1954. That's the only dates in this book.
And that's not Hart's book. Or that's
Stories are
not,
older than that,
that's not
obviously.
Critical Blast book, right? That's not the Critical Blast one, right?
No, this is the
Did RJ come
original
out with a new book?
shit.
RJ was working on one or working with somebody that had a
Yeah,
thick
he
ass
is.
fucking Grimm's fairy tale book in German, I think. And the illustrations were fucking dope. And I was like, dude, I gotta have that book.
Nice.
But I don't know. I'm gonna have to hit that fool up in a DM and try to inquire about it because I want one.
Oh, that sounds like it's right up my alley. One of the things.
Oh yeah, dude, you would have loved it, bro. Like I thought you were like kind of like I already knew about it or something. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
Y'all pay attention to
I don't know
the
what it
damn
is.
network,
If you mention the name of it, I mean, you know, and of course we love RJ. Support anything he does. One of the books I'm reading right now, kind of juggling them.
Ooh, nice. Fuck yeah. So, what you're reading that right now, huh? That's going to be any inspiration for any new books you're working on that might take place over there?
Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, you know, I can't wait to really, like I said, once I've got like a really good idea for like basic treatment. It could be even just like 1 page, 2 pages.
Oh yeah,
an
idea. Yeah.
And then an idea, because then it's in the gestational stage, and I could throw it to you, and that's the perfect time to fucking change shit.
Oh yeah, dude. I can't
add
wait.
shit, remove shit.
Fun, dude. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. And the thing is, if we have fun making the thing, people are gonna have a fucking blast reading.
Why fun fucking coming up with the new like the design of the character that we were doing for like that was like a week or two. That shit was fucking fun.
Yes, for sure, man. For sure. Yeah. Well, for those of you that aren't aware, we're talking about The Puritanian, which is a book that Matt and I got coming your way.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah,
I've been out of the loop. I'm glad to hear you guys are doing something.
Horror Movie Club's gonna have a little horror book in about a year or two.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Horror
right.
Movie Club having a horror baby project.
Yeah,
boy.
They're gestating a project.
Let me see if we have another.
Love those first person views, man. Like, can you think of another horror movie
They're
like
spooky?
Like I don't know, like that was doing that before this. I'm sure there was probably over in like Europe somewhere or something.
Not that I'm aware of.
Right?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I can think of.
I was like, from the get, this motherfucker's up there like Spider-Man, like in the first couple seconds.
Oh yeah, you see that
getting in there. I was like, okay. I was like, damn, he's like taking this place.
Yeah, he's like looking around, like, oh yeah, that's my way in. Yeah, and just fucking just a fucking human fly.
For something like for me, there's something about like horror movies with houses and like attics and like passageways. Like I love like this movie. I thought that was cool. Nothing But Trouble. You know, like the new Black Christmas. I mean, the 2006 one, The People Under the Stairs, Wes Craven. I mean, just big houses with trapdoors and attics, and I don't know.
Yeah, baby.
I'm really into that.
Yeah. Now you see, that's a perfect example of Gothic imagery and themes that are done in a modern way.
Yeah, even Dracula had that a little bit with Harker, you know, exploring the castle a bit, you know.
Yes.
But,
yeah. I mean, that's what, you know, I read like all of the early Gothic novels when I was in college, and that's what my senior thesis was on Gothic literature, and you know, it was actually considered women's literature because, and which is one of the reasons it wasn't taken seriously, right? Because they figured like, oh, the women, they like reading these spooky little books that give them a little shudder or something. and actually, I'm assuming it's still the same, but I remember being really kind of fascinated when I found out that with science fiction fans, it was 55% in favor of males. And then that number was reversed for horror, except the 55% was females. Yeah, so women actually technically love horror not as much as men, but even more than men. I don't know. I don't know.
I wonder if
it makes sense. It makes sense.
In so many movies, there's a damsel in distress, and they can relate to that.
Yeah.
And the comics, you always had the damsel in distress that gets saved from the monster. Phantom of the Opera, that's a really great one because a lot of those novels are shit. I'm not gonna lie, but that's the thing. It's just like you have idiots like me that just read all that shit, and then I can tell you which ones are like yeah, it's all garbage. You just want to read this one and this one and this one, and you're good. I'm glad that you guys like this movie.
Oh, I love this movie. Yeah, I gotta get it, man. I gotta get a new Blu-ray player. Gotta add it to the collection, dude. Man, this one's. I want to get the remake too. But
this is one to have for sure.
They're both different, but this one's a little better. Just on a lot of levels. Yeah.
Glad you dug it, dude. Glad you dug it. See, that's one of the things I love about this stream is like because when I found out that you hadn't seen this, I was like, oh, we got to remedy that shit.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch. Dude, like it's criminal. Like another one I haven't seen that's the criminal I should have seen is a Cannibal Holocaust. Never seen that movie.
Oh, really?
Never seen it. You know.
What's the other one? What's the
one?
Again,
again, I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it because we're probably going to have it on the stream someday. Now I have a reason not to watch it, but to watch it, you know. So I'm not. I figure I could save it for like an experiment for the show. You know.
What's the more modern, not remake, but in the same ilk? It's it's Green something.
Green Inferno.
Yes.
The Green Inferno, or
I thought the special effects in
that one
really
that was the Eli Roth remake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
special effects
his version of an Italian cannibal movie.
Yeah.
Because that was a genre.
Yeah. Italian cannibals.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, what the fuck is wrong with Italian people? And then I found out that it was actually for the Japanese market. They're like, what the fuck is wrong with the Japanese?
Eventually, you're going to be like, what's wrong with people?
What's wrong with people?
Yeah, and just take it to its logical.
Yeah, my attitude towards that genre is been there, done that. There's not really fertile territory to explore. Ruggero Deodato, the director of Cannibal Holocaust, was always asked in interviews, you know, are you ever going to make a Cannibal Holocaust 2? And he just had the best reaction. He was just like, no more cannibal. No more cannibal.
Like, had enough.
That's enough.
Yeah. Hey guys, I think I'm gonna get going right now. For tonight, I got open the gates. I got Richard Embry coming on talking about Blood on the Sword and had a blast tonight. And thanks for having me on again, brother.
I gotta go.
Much love to you, brother.
It was good to see you again.
Merry Christmas. I will either see you in there or I will see you in the chat at the very least.
Cool. And I hope to see you next week, ID, for the next show, whatever we're doing. So, Merry Christmas, guys.
Should be. I mean, because I'll be off of work. I don't go back. Tomorrow's my last day until the 2nd.
Fuck yeah.
So hopefully that'll be the case. But you know how it is when you're married with a family, and then the wife knows that you've got that much time off. You know what happens?
Yeah,
exactly.
I know about all that.
Make them do things, right?
Oh, I know.
Right.
Know all about that.
Shit.
Well, Merry Christmas, all you guys. Merry fucking Christmas.
You too,
right?
man.
Merry Christmas. Yeah. Are you taking off too, Pops?
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta get ready for another show.
All right, man. You guys are busy.
Yeah, and I am.
It'll only be my 4th or 5th one a day.
Let's sign out, Pop, so you can play the videos if you like. And
can I talk to you for a couple of minutes after, though? I mean, if you don't have to leave right away. I mean, I got to go to bed too, but I'd like to pick your brain just for a couple of minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess I'll end the stream.
Well, no, I mean, you can play the video and stuff like that.
Let me play at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Real quick.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt your
show.
show.
Where can find you?
Anywhere you see at ID Crisis or ID Crisis Design on all social media platforms. You can go to idcrisisdesign.com. That's my website. You can see my work there. And that's it. I ain't going to give out my address or phone number, but
it's all good.
Yeah.
And Pops, tell these fools where they can find you.
At Madness Comic on Twitter. Pops Van Zant or Comic Related Madness on Facebook, the Madness Comic Network on YouTube, and Roku.
And everybody,
shit. I said that out loud.
Yeah,
Roku.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. We can see about making that happen. Everybody
We
can
have
catch
it
me
right
on the
now. You can
Flyers.
sign up right now. You can sign up right now for the preview proof of concept.
True.
That's on Roku right now.
That is
Yeah,
true.
I got the email about that. I got signed up.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Man. And look, do me a favor, ID. Take a picture of your TV with our network up on there.
Right now,
Anytime, and just send it to me, because anybody that sends me a picture like that is going to get something exclusive from the campaign that nobody else is going to get.
Okay.
Oh shit!
When I get the stick, I can do that.
Yeah, anytime. Just send me a picture of our station up on your TV.
Sure.
And
This
you'll
one,
get some. I haven't decided if it's going to be some kind of a sticker or a bookmark, but it's going to be something that only the people that send me a picture during the preview phase of this and show me that they backed that they got behind what we're doing. Those people are going to get something exclusive that nobody else is going to get. So,
Hell yeah.
Right.
Yes. Sign up, folks. You snooze, you lose.
There you go. You got to get in there. I had to go get a stick myself. I think it cost $29. I went up to Walmart, got one for $29. But dude, there is so much free programming, man. It's like I mean, there's so much there that there's some of the other things I don't even need anymore.
There's like something for everybody.
There's there is so much, and you can get all your other things through it too. You can get Netflix. You can put all the other apps on your Roku, so that's all you
like we were
need.
talking about it before. This Apple TV down here is like Generation 3. It's no good anymore. It's just
yeah.
So, I might as well move on to something else, and this will be it. No one else.
You guys.
Anyways,
as far as I know, we have pretty much full programming throughout the week. Even with the holiday, most everybody's still doing some form of their shows. So we're going to be out here, guys. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We're going to be out here doing the thing.
Grinding.
Right.
Brian, Monday Madness, Christmas Day, about 5 o'clock, we're going to be opening this big old stack of shit behind me. And a few other people going to be joining us and opening shit too.
Reading in them boxes.
It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. If you ain't doing nothing, jump on out here with us, man. Because
for sure,
I know you kind of like me. You ain't gonna have a whole lot of people hang out with. So
Yeah, everybody's dead.
I mean, for me, it's like the kids will be going to the grandparents on the other side of the family. You know what I mean? Well, I'll be sitting here by myself doing my. You know what I mean? I get you. So.
Rock and roll. Everybody, you can find me. I'm on the Twatters at Brian Christgau on the YouTube. Smash that like button, spank that, subscribe, ring a ding ding dong, the bell for notifications. You can also find me on the Facebooks too. I'm everywhere.
Nationwide, man. You're bad. You're
worldwide.
Right.
Have you seen RJ's new trailer?
No.
All right. Well, I'm gonna play that one.
Run that first then.
Yeah.
All right. Let's sign out first, though. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate you. We will see you next week. Until then, peace, love, and
a creature in the swamps. It lives to destroy. The beast they call Hogzilla.
After his latest get-rich scheme goes sideways, Gary Duba, the quintessential Florida man, ends up with a stash of somebody's high-end memorabilia. His gal Crystal is on probation and preparing for the fight of her life, squaring off against Australia's Queen of Combat. Delilah's got her back in training, staying off rich foods and the nose candy. Meanwhile, Gary and his best friend Floyd have been hired to wrangle a massive, abnormally aggressive feral hog that's terrorizing the swamp and wrecking Gary's old neighborhood. Can they bag the elusive monster swine without destroying the Sunshine State? Reserve your copy of Florida Man vs. Hogzilla at FloridaManComics.com. We're bringing back funny books, y'all.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.